Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be exploring Brookfield Renewable.
Oh, excellent choice.
And its potential as a high-yielding dividend stock.
Yeah.
Our primary source for this deep dive is a recent article from The Motley Fool.
Okay.
It's titled, "This Top High-Yielding Dividend Stock Continues to Generate High-Powered Growth." And it was published on February 2nd, 2025, so very recent.
Very good.
Get ready for some fascinating insights. We're talking about a company fresh off a record-breaking year, a multi-billion-dollar deal with Microsoft, and the potential for some seriously impressive returns.
So what's really interesting about Brookfield Renewable is that it's not just about dividends.
Right.
It's about understanding how this company is strategically positioning itself for growth within the booming renewable energy sector.
Yeah, let's unpack that.
Sure.
The article highlights Brookfield Renewable's incredible performance in 2024. A 10% growth in funds from operations, or FFO per share, is nothing to sneeze at.
No, not at all.
And they've increased their dividend for 14 consecutive years,
Wow.
now yielding over 5.5%.
That's impressive.
That kind of consistent growth definitely catches my eye.
It's a testament to their solid business model. Their success stems from a few key strategies.
Okay.
First, their cash flows are cleverly linked to inflation, providing a safety net in unpredictable economic climates.
Makes sense.
Think of it like a built-in buffer against rising costs.
Yeah, they're essentially protecting their earnings
Exactly.
from being eroded by inflation.
Exactly. On top of that, they've organically expanded their operations by developing a remarkable 7 GWW of new renewable energy capacity. That's equivalent to powering millions of homes.
Wow.
With clean energy.
Yeah.
And let's not forget their strategic acquisitions, which have further bolstered their portfolio and financial performance.
Speaking of acquisitions, they invested a record-breaking $12.5 billion in 2024.
That's a lot of money.
With $1.8 billion coming directly from Brookfield Renewable's balance sheet. Those are some serious numbers. Yeah.
Can you tell us more about where that money went?
Absolutely. 3 major investments finalized in December deserve a closer look.
Okay.
The first is Infinium, a company specializing in eFuels, which are synthetic fuels produced using renewable energy. This is a strategic move, considering the growing demand for sustainable alternatives to fossil fuels, especially in hard-to-decarbonize sectors, like aviation and shipping.
So they're not just investing in existing renewable technologies. They're looking ahead to the future of clean energy solutions.
Then there's the acquisition of Ørsted's UK offshore wind farms, which boast a massive 3.5 GW capacity. Offshore wind is a rapidly growing segment of the renewable energy market. And this acquisition strengthens Brookfield Renewable's position.
It seems they're really covering all their bases. What was the third major investment?
The third one is their initial acquisition of shares in Neoen, a global player in renewable energy development. This is a multi-phase acquisition.
And Brookfield Renewable is planning to acquire the remaining shares in the future. Neoen has a diverse portfolio of renewable energy projects, including solar, wind, and energy storage, further diversifying Brookfield Renewable's holdings.
Wow, they're not holding back. It sounds like these investments are setting them up for some major growth in the years to come.
That's the key takeaway here. Brookfield Renewable is not just sitting on its current assets. It's actively building a portfolio that's designed to thrive in the rapidly evolving landscape of renewable energy.
Makes sense.
The Infinium investment in particular highlights their forward-thinking approach. eFuels have the potential to revolutionize industries that are difficult to electrify. And Brookfield Renewable is positioning itself to be a leader in this emerging market.
It's like they're playing chess, anticipating future trends and making moves to stay ahead of the game.
Exactly. Their strategic vision is one of the most compelling aspects of this company.
Okay, so we've talked about their investments in the future of clean energy, but how are their existing assets performing?
Their existing portfolio is also delivering impressive results. Their hydroelectric portfolio, for instance, generated a whopping $511 million in FFO.
Hydropower is a reliable and proven source of clean energy, so it's no surprise that it's a strong performer in their portfolio. What about their other ventures?
Their investment in Westinghouse, the nuclear services provider,
Oh, interesting.
is proving to be another strategic win.
Yeah.
As the world seeks reliable and carbon-free energy sources,
Right.
nuclear power is gaining renewed attention.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Brookfield Renewable's stake in Westinghouse allows them to participate in this potential nuclear renaissance.
That's a really interesting point. It seems like they're strategically positioned across a wide spectrum of clean energy technologies. It's not just about wind and solar. It's about diversifying their portfolio to capture the full potential of the clean energy transition.
Their diverse portfolio not only mitigates risk, but also positions them to capitalize on a variety of growth opportunities within the clean energy sector.
The Motley Fool article quotes Brookfield Renewable CEO Connor Teskey as saying that the demand for clean power is accelerating, driven by both corporations and government initiatives. It sounds like they're riding a powerful wave.
Absolutely. They're not just riding the wave, they're actively shaping it. Their investments and strategic partnerships are influencing the direction of the clean energy market.
Wow.
Take their development pipeline, for example. Yeah. They have an incredible 200 GW of projects in development.
200 GW, that's massive.
Yeah.
What's their plan for bringing those projects online?
Well, they're aiming to commission an average of 10 GW of these projects annually by 2027. That's an ambitious goal.
Yeah.
But their track record suggests they're capable of delivering. And their strategic partnerships are key to achieving this ambitious target. For example, their framework agreement with Microsoft.
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
It's a game changer.
Huge.
They're collaborating to develop a record-breaking 10.5 GW of renewable energy capacity between 2026 and 2030.
That's a seriously impressive partnership. It shows that major corporations are not just talking about sustainability, they're putting their money where their mouth is and investing in clean energy solutions. But with all these investments and ambitious growth plans, how are they funding it all?
That's where their capital recycling strategy comes into play.
Okay.
It's a clever approach to financial management. They strategically sell off mature assets to free up capital for new investments. Last year alone, they sold $2.8 billion worth of assets.
Wow.
Generating a net gain of $1 billion for Brookfield Renewable.
So they're essentially selling assets that have reached their peak value.
Right.
And using the proceeds to fund even more growth. That sounds like a smart way to ensure a continuous cycle of expansion. But is there a risk?
Yeah.
They might sell off assets that could still generate substantial returns in the future.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But they're being very selective about which assets they sell.
Yeah.
They're focusing on assets that have matured and reached a point where selling them makes more financial sense than holding on to them.
Gotcha.
Their goal is to optimize their portfolio for long-term growth, not just short-term gains.
It's like they're constantly pruning their portfolio to ensure it's producing the best possible fruit, so to speak.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
They're actively managing their assets to maximize returns and fuel future growth.
Okay, so they're generating strong returns from their existing assets, making strategic investments, and cleverly recycling capital to fuel future growth. What does this all mean for investors?
Well, the Motley Fool article suggests that Brookfield Renewable is well-positioned to deliver impressive returns for investors seeking both dividends and long-term growth.
Okay.
Their dividend yield is already enticing, and they have a plan to grow it between 5% to 9% annually over the long term.
That's a very attractive proposition for income-focused investors, and their CEO seems quite confident about achieving a 10% growth in FFO per unit in the coming years.
Yeah, combining those two factors, dividend growth and FFO growth paints a compelling picture of their potential for generating total returns.
The Motley Fool even estimates potential annualized returns in the mid-teens.
Yeah.
Which is quite impressive. Of course, past performance isn't a guarantee of future results.
Right.
But it's still an exciting prospect.
Especially when you consider the global demand for clean energy.
Right.
Brookfield Renewable is strategically positioned to capitalize on this mega trend. They're not just riding the wave.
Yeah.
They're actively shaping it.
So to sum it all up,
Brookfield
Renewable is firing on all cylinders.
They are.
They had a stellar year in 2024. They're making strategic investments that should fuel future growth, and they're operating in a sector that's poised for explosive growth in the years to come. What a fascinating company.
Absolutely. Their strategic vision, diverse portfolio, and commitment to sustainable growth make them a compelling case study for anyone interested in the future of clean energy.
It really makes you think, like, what could this level of growth mean for the future of clean energy?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brookfield Renewable is undoubtedly a force to be reckoned with. But as we've seen,
right,
the renewable energy landscape is incredibly dynamic. New technologies are constantly emerging.
Right.
And the competitive landscape is always shifting.
Right, like even in the time we've been talking.
Exactly.
There could be a new solar panel breakthrough or a wave of investment in some unexpected corner of the market.
Exactly. So while Brookfield Renewable is clearly in a strong position today,
Right.
their continued success will depend on their ability to adapt, innovate, and stay ahead of the curve. It's a bit like surfing.
Oh, I like that.
You need to constantly adjust to the changing ways to stay on top.
I love that analogy. So for our listener out there who's now totally intrigued by Brookfield Renewable, what's the one key takeaway you hope they walk away with?
I'd say this. Brookfield Renewable is a fascinating example of how a company can combine financial success with a commitment to sustainability.
Yeah.
They're showing that investing in clean energy isn't just good for the planet. It can also be a very smart business decision.
Absolutely. And as we've seen, they're not just passively riding the wave of the clean energy transition. They're actively shaping it through their investments and partnerships.
Precisely. They're a company to watch not just for their potential returns, but also for the impact they're having on the future of energy.
Well said. If you're interested in diving deeper into Brookfield Renewable and the exciting world of renewable energy investing, we encourage you to explore the resources we've linked in the show notes. And who knows, maybe this deep dive will spark your own journey into discovering the next game changer in the clean energy space. Thanks for joining us.